Hi everybody, I'm here with my daily video, and yesterday I showed you a little bit of an infographic in my bullet journal where I talked about all the different types of planner inserts that I've seen kind of around the planner community. Ones that are available on Etsy, as well as ones that you can get from Staples or even like Target. Something that I wanted to share with you is that, someone actually mentioned in the comments of one of my videos that they really appreciate DIY planning because it helps them to create a planner and design a planner specifically for their needs, and it also allows for flexibility when it comes to planning. I'm a firm believer that DIY is a really awesome way to go about doing planning, specifically because it allows you to be really flexible and fluid with how you do planning. I'm also a firm believer that planning shouldn't be expensive. It should not kind of be something that puts you in any sort of financial discomfort, so DIY planning is a great way to go about doing planning. So I thought for this video I would show you maybe some tricks and tips or just some ideas about how you can go about doing DIY planning. And I'm going to use pretty much just a notebook, some planner stickers, since planner stickers are fun to use, but you don't have to use planner stickers, you could just as well do color coding. And I'm also going to show you a notepad that is planner inserts, but it comes to you as a notepad, but you can disassemble it and then turn it into a planner that is a bound planner. So if you would like to see a little bit of some DIY planning, planner stickers, I invite you to stick around for the video, and I hope that it's helpful to you in helping you to establish your own planner piece. So in yesterday's daily video, I showed you this infographic, which is just a way of presenting information in a pictorial sort of way. And so what I wanted to share with you today is I wanted to show you an example of compartmentalized planning as much as something that is like scheduling and time tracking. It's functional and it also is estimated and projected, but it's completely and totally DIY. So let me just show you. This is a notebook for all accounts and purposes. It's the same size as the Happy Planner, and it's just disc bound, but this could just as well be a spiral bound notebook if you wanted to think of it that way. I really like doing disc bound because I like bookmaking, but this is a little bit of what I wanted to show you. And I've shown you examples of this in a different video that I did, but what I like to do sometimes is I like to actually layer planner inserts on top of paper because it allows me to put information underneath that might be private information, notes from client meetings that I might have, or just design notes. So then what you end up with is you end up with truly vertical sort of planning, meaning vertical off the page. And so this is great if you wanted to do a little bit of pre-planning. And even if you wanted to do memory planning, that you could kind of put your pre-planning, your logistical stuff on the outside, and then you could do some memory planning on the inside by putting pictures on the inside or doing planner stickers. This could be lined paper if you wanted it to be. I just have it as unlined just for the sake of me just kind of showing you an example. But here's a little bit of an example, and I have pre-prepped these, and all I did is I just stripped the side with washi tape, so then you can just lift it up and then you have a little bit of a flap. And this is very similar to educational design, something that's called an interactive notebook or a lap book. And this is 1 week, and then this is a little bit of something for forward planning, which is just a compartmentalized sort of a worksheet that shows you places where you can put information, because I know that whenever I do planning, there's always things that really just kind of come up, and I just need a place to put them. And sometimes there's not a designated place to put them on an insert, so it can be helpful to have a very open-ended sort of a worksheet like this. And these are 2 list pads, in essence, that I picked up from my local TJ Maxx or Marshall's, I can't remember which one, and they were really cheap. They were less than $5 per notepad. So here's a little bit of an example of what they might look like with information on them. And here I just layered some sticky note sort of information kind of on top. So then if you need more landscape in Wednesday, then you can just layer something on top and then you can just lift it up. I used some Me and My Big Ideas arrow stickers to show that a task that I maybe wanted to start on Tuesday, if I don't finish it, then it would of course kind of lend itself to being finished on Thursday. This is a little bit of a DIY sort of a planner sticker, and I will link the video that goes along with how you can do DIY stickers in the description of this one. Here's just a tiny die cut sticker. Here's another die cut sticker. Let's see here, what else do we have here? This is a page flag, and this is great for if you wanted to write information here and then pick it up and move it off of this section onto maybe a monthly page or even a notes page. This originally said weekend, but I just relabeled it and made this a little bit of a notes column. And this you can lift up. And like I said, I like having these pages that are a little bit of like a pop-up book, because it allows you to put sensitive information, like confidential information for client notes or design notes, underneath of it, and so it becomes three-dimensional. It becomes a pop-up planner. Over here, again, there's nothing underneath of this, but I could always put stuff underneath of it if I wanted to. These are simply page flags, and what I have on here is I have tasks: fold socks, organize bookshelf, 10-minute cleanup. And I like using the top portion or just a designated portion as a little bit of a dashboard. And then what I could do is I could give these to my daughter and say, okay, now it's time to fold the socks. And so because it's modular, you can pull it off and even crumpled up. What it does is it gives you a little bit of a portion of the task list to kind of take with you. And then you visually can tell when these disappear, that means that you have accomplished something. So that's kind of fun. So it's one way to use page flags that I've found to be very, very helpful. Here I use just tiny die cut stickers, almost like bullet points, and this is an idea of what I do sometimes with my daughter, because she can have a really hard time understanding just how time is laid out and just scheduling. So while this right here would be maybe my side of the double page spread, it's a lot more specifically articulated over a course of a number of days in a week layout. This is a lot more open-ended, and this is an example of compartmentalized planning, because you have a box here for today, here's one for tomorrow, here's one for the weekend, and that normally does say the weekend. I just put a really fun weekend sticker over top of it. So then she can look down this column and see, this is what we're going to focus on today, this is what we have going for tomorrow, so think ahead. And then get excited about the weekend because this is what's coming. She has a tendency sometimes to feel like the weekend is coming a little bit sooner than it actually is. So this helps her to see in a tiered sort of a way that the weekend's not here yet because we have some time between the weekend and today, but this allows her to see a little bit of a visual hierarchy of kind of what we have at hand. We have a box over here that says near future, and again, this is what I kind of think of as compartmentalized planning, just because you have different boxes. And you could honestly take a page like this and just relabel it and make this kind of project planning if you wanted to, or even household and family planning. That's completely and totally possible too. You just would relabel it. I have some die cut stickers here, so then she can see there's a picture that helps to explicate, so that's like explain what the details of the plan are over here. And this says near future, so she knows that, well, today this is what we have going on. Don't worry, because in the future we will be able to do this sort of thing. This someday column, this is maybe stuff that might be happening maybe in the next month. I mean, you could always relabel this and call this month, but these are things that we can pick up and we can move to other areas. So then, again, this planning becomes modular, and I even just put a little die cut sticker on there. Just things for her to take with her or put in her own planner. And this is a column, or this is a section that says maybe never, and it has a thumbs down. That's from me and my big ideas. And so sometimes I have found that when I do planning and things just kind of pop up and I need a place to put them, there's things that are distracting sort of ideas and thoughts. And so it's actually a really, really good idea to have a little bit of a notepad or just a designated space for you to put down the things that are distracting that you just need to kind of get out of your mind, almost like a brain dump. So I kind of like having that one compartment here on this insert because it gives me a place to kind of get things out of my mind so then I can focus on the more specific things. So there's a look at something that is really very DIY, and I did make this notebook myself. These are Martha Stewart art discs, and they are actually my favorite brand of art discs. And then I just cut the paper, this is basically copy paper, to size, and then I made my own notebook, and then I simply taped these inserts just on one edge, and you can see I kind of pre-prepped a number of different pages just to show you that you can go through them. And I really like undated inserts because it allows you to have so much more flexibility. And if you like color, you can use colorful washi tape that coordinates with the color of the actual planning tablet sort of inserts. There's lots and lots that you can do when it comes to DIY planning. And since this is a sticky note, you can always take this off and then put this someplace else or give this to someone if you need to. So doing DIY planning, doing things, combining different elements is a great option if you have not yet found planner piece. And even though this is a notebook that I put together and I made, you could do this in just a regular old notebook. You could do this in a notebook like this if you wanted to. And this was a notebook that was only 50 cents, so planning does not have to be expensive. And you can still use all of the fun sticky notes and page flags and things that you really enjoy. So I hope that this was helpful for you and to you. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that what I shared with you was helpful. I know that getting started with planning, or even being able to keep up with the momentum of planning, it's something that can be very frustrating, especially if what you're using or what you're thinking that you need to use, if that's not working. And so DIY is a really, really great option for you to try at any time. I am never someone who feels like when something's not working out that it should be quit altogether. Sometimes it's just a matter of making some really easy adjustments to try and make it so that your planner is working for you more than you working for it. And sometimes those adjustments are really, really simple things. If you don't have the funds to be able to go out and get planner inserts, maybe even inserts that everybody else seems to be using, maybe it's because you need to come up with an individualized sort of a layout that does work just for you. Planning, just as much as learning, is something that is very personal to someone. And so you should never ever feel like because a planner isn't working for you, that planning can't work for you. Planning can always work. It can work for anybody. And it's just a little bit of a way of just maybe kind of tweaking your perspective as much as your planner pages. And maybe trying something just a little bit different that you hadn't thought of. And I hope that what I shared with you today is something that offers you a little bit of something different that you hadn't considered, and maybe this will help you. So that's it for today's daily video, and I thank you so much for watching it, spending so much time with me. I thank you so much for the comments that you've left and the way we've been able to connect, and I look forward to seeing you in the next daily video. Bye!